Functional recovery basically refers to how we help young people who've had an experience of mental ill health reconnect with the rest of their lives. In particular, we focus on their employment goals, their educational goals, with the broader aim of reconnecting them with their communities and society in general. In the functional recovery area, we're currently looking at 5 key domains. The first is around employment, which builds on the work we've been doing for nearly 10 years now. Most of that work up until now has been in young people with psychosis, but we're really excited that we're about to begin expanding this intervention to young people with other disorders such as depression and anxiety, and importantly that we're going to be expanding this nationally. The second area is education. The area of education really hasn't been paid much attention, but we know from the general population that the more education you have, the less likely you are to be unemployed, and the more you're likely to earn through your life. So it's really important that we help young people with mental ill health complete their education to the fullest extent of their potential. The third area is part of a large recently funded study, which is going to help us look at what is the least amount of medication that people need to make full recoveries. This hasn't been done anywhere else in the world, and we're really excited that we've got the opportunity to find out the answer to that question here. The fourth area is physical health. One of the things that we know about people with mental ill health is that their life expectancy is severely reduced compared to the general population, for some disorders by as much as 30 years. We also know that the risk factors for these shortened lives begin to accumulate at the outset of mental illness, so it only makes sense that we integrate physical health as part of the approach, the early intervention approach to mental health, so that we can actually allow people to live not only productive lives, but lives that are as long as anybody else in the community. The fifth area is a new area which we're also excited to be developing into, and that's the use of technology such as virtual reality in our approaches to functional recovery. So for example, you can imagine that a very daunting prospect for a young person who's got no experience of a job interview is doing a job interview. But with virtual reality, we can actually put a person into a simulation of that, a very real feeling simulation, and give them feedback and coaching so that when they come to do a real interview, hopefully they'll be able to get through it and get the job that they were looking to get. Functional recovery research is very important because people's life ambitions don't stop just because they have an episode of mental illness. One of the things that's probably been a terrible stereotype about people with mental illness is that they will lead lives which are lessened in their ambition because of their mental illness, that they won't work, that they won't participate in society, they won't partner, that they won't have children. And this contributes hugely to the immense social marginalisation and exclusion that is felt by people with mental ill health. The functional recovery research that I lead directly addresses these issues. If you look at any of the economic analyses of mental illness, the biggest cost is not actually the treatment of the illness, it's the costs associated with the consequences of illness. And functional recovery research aims to directly lessen those consequences, leading to people being completely re-engaged in their ambitions and re-engaged with their communities, so socially included rather than socially excluded.